We're now joined by number 9 ranked UFC bantamweight Jimmie Rivera, and we'll take our first set of questions from Pedro Gonzalez with Cage Side Press.
Hey Jimmy, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. Jimmy, I know this fight got bounced through a few different dates for different reasons. Just what was it like dealing with all of those changes, late in camp as the fight got closer each time?
It was just extra workout room. I mean, extra time to cut a little more weight and get a little more skinnier. I mean, it couldn't hurt. It just helped.
I know your last fight was at featherweight. How did your body react this camp to having to cut down to 135 again?
I had to just tweak some things to cut down to 35. I mean, fighting at featherweight, cutting only 2 pounds compared to cutting a little bit more than 2 pounds is a big difference. But having the extra time helped.
How do you feel you and Pedro have changed as fighters since the first matchup?
I think it really just experience-wise, we fought tough opponents, and I think we just have a little more experience under our belt.
You obviously won the last matchup. Going into this one, are there emotions like you have to outdo your last fight with him? You have to have an even better showing? Or is it just a completely new fight and you're just going out there to do the best you can? No emotions from the first one?
I mean, that second fight was tough, especially that third round. I wasn't in the shape I usually am in, and we changed some things in that training camp, and I remember specifically. So this fight, it's like I'm excited for because I'm in way better shape cardio-wise than I was in that fight.
And my final question, how do you see yourself getting the job done on Saturday?
Obviously, hoping for a knockout or submission, but if I get my hand raised at the end of the decision, it's a win.
Hey, thank you, Jimmy. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Mark LaMonica with Newsday.
Hello, Jimmy. How are you?
Good, you?
Good. Two questions for you. I guess the first one, I'm curious to know when you're in the cage, you're fighting, and you're in stand up. What are you typically looking at your opponent in front of you? I mean, there's so much to guard against and to think about. Where do you find your eye? Like, where do you guys typically look?
I mean, you kind of look at everywhere. You want to mix it up. I have the blessing to be able to do everything, wrestle, offense, defensively, jiu-jitsu, ground and pound, stuff like that. So when it comes down to the stand-up, it's just mixing it up, looking at telegraphs, looking at openings, making the guy do things I want him to do, different setups to do. There's a whole bunch of things. I kind of go with the flow, see how the fight's progressing in that first round. And then, when I come back, the corner is more of the stuff they see on the outside that I don't see, then I just put towards the next round and the following round. Okay,
thank you. One more. Looking ahead to next week, you're the only guy who's been in the cage with both Jan and Sterling. You went the distance with both of them. What do you see from that fight? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that fight, and looking at hearing the interviews and stuff like that, especially from Sterling, I think Sterling's going to try to out wrestle him. He'll just keep shooting. I think when it comes down to, I think Jan's wrestling's a little, people underrated a little bit. I think he has pretty decent wrestling, but Sterling makes a good point. It only takes that one time. He has got to get him down, and can he get back up from it? So I mean, that fight's gonna be an interesting fight. If Jan can keep him on the feet the whole time, I feel like Jan will win. But if Sterling can get him down, I think Sterling's going to win that fight.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
We'll take our next set of questions from David Martin with MMA Fighting.
Hey, Jimmy, obviously this is a rematch, and I know Pedro, I know you have a lot of respect for him. What's the biggest memory or the biggest takeaway you have from that first fight?
That I was just way better in the stand-up, whether it was offensively or, even the third round, watched the fight. I was tired in the third round, which he didn't know because of some of the things that were changed up in my training camp. And I was just able to counter a lot of stuff. I think what was the question again? Actually, I just forgot it. Sorry.
Just in terms of like your biggest memory of the first fight.
Oh, the biggest memory was just like kind of how it played out. Being in Brazil, I mean, when they don't like you at all and you're American, and going out there and just fighting. I mean, the crowd was really quiet that first round, and then you see, build up in the second and third. I guess I gotta say one of the biggest memories is we literally went toe to toe and just beat the crap out of each other.
If there's one thing that Pedro has done in his last few fights, we've seen him kind of adapt the philosophy of like the go big or go home kind of. He had a war with Frankie Edgar, knocked out Cody Garbrandt. He's definitely taking those chances, not playing it safe. Do you kind of look at that as maybe some opportunities for you to take advantage of that in this fight?
Love it. I mean, one of the reasons why I like the Pedro fight the first time around and then the second time is he's a guy that stands in the pocket. I don't have to go chase him like I had to do in the Dotson fight. And then even with the Sterling fight, even though I didn't perform as well, Sterling was able to keep good distance and really wouldn't stay in front. And the fights I enjoy the most and love to get in are the ones that are the guys that will stay in the pocket, won't run, or they'll come forward like him and Peter Yan. That's staying out the most when I fought in the past couple years.
Jimmie, I realize looking at your record today, you're actually coming up on your 6th anniversary in the UFC this year, which seems kind of crazy when you think about how long you've been here. But the bantamweight division has evolved a lot in the time you've been in the UFC, and now it feels deeper than it's ever been. And I know a lot of people say, well, the lightweight division is the best, or the welterweight division is the best, but where the bantamweight division is right now, in your opinion, considering you are a top 15 fighter, do you feel like the bantamweight division doesn't quite get the respect it deserves in terms of being the best or maybe even one of the deepest divisions in the sport?
Yeah, I think it's building. I mean, it's a stacked division and anybody could be the champ in the, top 10, top 15. I just think there's a lot of good guys, especially in that top 10. And, you got two well-known fighters that dropped down, Aldo and Frankie, who bring even more to the division. I think that with those names as well helps build the division even more. I think it's getting more recognition, not as much as it should, but it's building more. I think it just takes time. I mean, you got a lot of big names in there. You got TJ Dillashaw coming back too. It's just, I think as you keep going, as these fights keep going on, it's just going to get more and more recognition. But it's a stacked division for sure.
Do you believe that it should be in that conversation when people say the deepest, toughest division in the sport is lightweight? You could argue bantamweight, like you said. You look at top 1 through 15. There's it's hard to separate number 1 from number 6 or number 1 from number 10. It's a pretty deep division.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and anything can happen. I know one of the biggest things they look at are finishes in the UFC. Unfortunately, I don't have as many as I should, and that's just something I've been working on. But it's a stacked division. It comes down to it.
Thanks, Jimmie.
Welcome.
We'll take our next questions from Pablo Santamaria with Multi MMA Ecuador.
Hi, Jimmie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, what are your thoughts about Pedro as an opponent?
My thoughts of Pedro opponent both times around is he's a tough guy that likes to stand in the pocket and throw. And he's in it to win it, and he's tough. You could throw everything at him. He keeps coming forward.
Okay, the first match you have was a split decision, and it was very close. Do you expect the same fight, or do you plan to dominate him?
I mean, I think with the fight, he's going to try to change some things up from the previous fight scene when we fought, and then what he's seen when I fought recently. It was Cody Stateman and other fights. I think he's going to try to change some things up and try to work some maybe other game plans. I think one of the things he's not expecting is for me to be in better shape than I was that first fight.
For sure. If you get the W, do you want to call someone out, or do you have an opponent in your mind?
Yeah, I do. I do have an opponent in my mind.
Would you say us or before the fight?
Yeah, of course. I think I would love to fight right now. I know TJ is coming back, so I would love to fight him or Garbrandt as a second choice.
Okay, those matches will be awesome. And my last thing, would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
Yeah, thanks for supporting me and following me. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the fight Saturday night.
Thank you very much for your time, Jimmie, and good luck in the fight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Ryan McCarthy with Low Kick MMA.
Hey, Jimmie, how's it going, man?
Good, you?
Good. Just a couple questions here. You had one fight in 2020. What does 2021 look like for you? Ideally, are you trying to get a few fights in?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Man. I mean, when we scheduled this fight with Pedro, it was supposed to be November, December, and then it got pushed back, and it got pushed back a couple times for different reasons. So I'm just looking forward to getting back in and fighting more. It's tough. I think one of the biggest things is kind of tough when you're in the top 10 to try to climb that ladder and get closer for the belt, and you got to see who's available, who's not hurt. You know what I mean? Who's not dropping down or moving up kind of thing. So it just makes it tough.
For sure, man. Would you say the bantamweight division is the best in the sport? I know that question was asked kind of a little earlier, if it was underrated, but would you say it's the best?
Yeah, I think when you go from 135, 145, and 155, I feel like they're stacked divisions. You know what I mean? Really, really stacked. And then you look at 170, Usman's pretty much beat everybody in that top 10. So I look at it, I think 135 and 45 and 55 are one of the most stacked divisions here and bring a lot of excitement because you never know who's going to be champ or what's going to happen, especially at 35.
Yeah, for sure. And what's your ideal meal after a W on Saturday?
Oh, I don't know, man. I just want to get really fat. I've been dieting these extra couple weeks. I haven't been cheating at all, so I'm looking forward to eating some. I'm basically going to eat myself and probably get up to 170, 180, and then bring it back down after that. But I'm looking to eat and just get really, really fat and then realize how chunky I am and go back and lose weight.
I hear, man. Well, thanks for your time. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, Jimmy. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks.